My name is Marvin D'Souza. I'm an SE at Cisco. In this lab, I'm going to work on integrating Cisco ACI, Application-Centric Infrastructure, with Cisco ISE, Identity Services Engine. One of the key benefits of integration of these two appliances or services is the enablement of group-based policies across your enterprise. Because of ISE, we can take advantage of security group tags. Security group tags provide segmentation without the need for VLANs and enable ease of administration of your access list, whether it be on your firewall or network access devices. As a user logs into a device and tries to access your network, based on his group membership, he will be assigned a group tag. That group tag and IP address his endpoint receives are bound together for the entire duration he's on the network. If for some reason his IP address changes, that information will also be transmitted, but the security group tag will stay the same. This allows for consistent resource enablement or access across your enterprise. Cisco ACI Application-Centric Infrastructure is Cisco's ACI SDN fabric. And one of the key benefits of SDN fabric is it makes the application the focal point and provides great visibility to the application status. But one of the other benefits is microsegmentation. Endpoint groups is a key factor that we're going to look at today in this lab. Cisco's EPGs allow the classification of endpoints based on certain security requirements. But key factor here is that endpoints within an EPG cannot communicate with endpoints in another EPG without a contract, which is designated by these lines here. In today's lab, you're going to look at transmitting security group tag information learned from ISE into the ACI fabric. We will also get EPG information from the ACI fabric transmitted into ISE. This will allow us to understand the endpoints on the ACI fabric as well as the endpoints or the users trying to access resources on the network and create access lists based on SGTs and EPGs more consistently. Let's get started. I'm going to pull my ISE. Once logged in, go to Work Centers, TrustSec Settings. Here I'll show you how we connect it to the APIC controller that manages the ACI fabric. Put in the IP address of the APIC controller, the admin, username and password, the tenant you will be connecting to. You can also click on Test Settings here, and you should see Connection Succeeded. All ACI server details are valid. Click OK. Another important thing to look at here is the ISE EX EPG or ACI SGT. So any new SGTs will get the suffix ISE X EPG. This means any information learned from the ACI fabric will be denoted with this suffix. Any new EPGs that have been created because of our integration will be denoted with the ACI_SGT. This will allow us for troubleshooting and to differentiate between SGTs or EPGs that are native to the system. Another good thing to look at here is the general TrustSec settings. Here we will see the system will assign numbers in range of 10,000. This is a number, like I mentioned before, security group tag number. Any EPGs that have been learned and converted into SGTs on the ISE fabric will be labeled or numbered 10,000 and above. Let's take a look at that. Here are all my SGTs. You notice most of my SGTs are pretty small numbers. But if I have any EPGs that have been converted into SGTs, here, 10,000 and above is my number. This allows me to quickly troubleshoot and say, hey, okay, this is not native. And I can also look at here and say, oh, this is learned from ACI. If I click on this SGT, I get a warning message up here that says this security group was learned from ACI and cannot be modified. Now let's log into the API controller. See what you can see there. Here I'll click on tenants. And then I will click on the tenant that I joined from my ISE controller. Let's take a look here and see what information I have learned from the ACI fabric. So I click here, I see these are EPGs within the secure DC tenant. If I go back here, I see those same EPGs learned, 3 of those, 10,001, 2, and 3 from my API controller. Let's take a look and see if I can see any of the security group tags learned from my ISE as well. So as you can see here, you see all the ACI SGT, which is what I wanted any of my SGTs learned to have ACI underscore SGT. This allows me to quickly differentiate my group tags learned from a different group tag learned from a different ISE system. So let's look at a demo where I create a contract from an endpoint. Let's take a look here at the endpoints within Enterprise Group Web. Look at my endpoints within EPG Web. Let me pull over my vCenter here. What you'll see is when I created this EPG Web, it automatically created a port group for me as well. And if I click on Edit Settings within this VM here, you should see the Production Web, Secure DC Tenant Production Web. The IP address is 172.16.10.8. In this lab, I'm going to try and ping that IP address, but I don't have any contracts created or applied to this EPG. What that means is I will not be able to ping or access any of the devices within this EPG because I do not have a contract. The goal is to create a contract between a security group tag on the outside and an EPG endpoint on the inside of my ACI fabric. Let's take a look at how that works. Let me pull over one of my test machines to the screen. This is a VM I'm going to use to ping my endpoint, 172.16.10.8. Already have ping going there. Let me continue that ping. So as you can see, I cannot ping the 172.16.10.8 network. I'm also going to get another machine as well. Let's see what the IP address of this machine is. It's 10.10.10.100. Alright. Let me get another machine over here as well. So this is another VM I have on another subnet. There. And let me open up another command prompt and check the IP address on this box as well. 172.31.1.110. Alright. Let's go ahead now and add these two boxes to a security group by doing a static group binding. To do a static IP-SGT static mapping, go to TrustSec, IP-SGT static mapping, click Add. Here I'm going to put in that IP address on the first machine, 172.31.1.110. Now I'll select the group tag that I want it to be a part of, and I'll call it contractors. The SXP domain be default. I'll click Save. Let's add the other one as well to a different group tag. I'll add this one to ISE default domain. Click Save. Once this information is saved, I should be able to go to my APIC controller and go to those respective SGTs that were learned, and I should be able to see my endpoint within it. As you can see, once the screen is populated, within the ISE ACI SGT, I've got 10.10.10.100, and here you can see that. I can change this or delete it, and you should see that. That should go away immediately. It's because ACI Fabric and ISE are subscribing to events real time. So there's no timers, or there's no need to wait for something to be refreshed. As I go ahead and add it to another group, I'll choose a different SGT this time. Let's choose development. Default. Hit save. You should go back in there. It should be almost instantaneous. Wait for the website to. Oh, I'm sorry. Go into development. I apologize. There it is. 10.10.10.100. Moved almost instantaneously. So, now that we have our endpoints moved, let's check the other one as well. So we've got development, we have contractors. Let's go to contractors and see if we see contractors as well. So in contractors, ACI_SGT. You see that as well, 172.31.1.110. So now that we've got our endpoints visible, let's go ahead and create a contract to allow ICMP traffic between the EPG web and my endpoint and my SGTs here. So it doesn't matter. I could have a bunch of SGT endpoints within the same SGT or different SGTs. Let's take a look at one example at a time. We'll just put them in two different SGTs and create one rule, one contract. So just to confirm, I still can't ping the 172.16.10.8, which is an endpoint on my EPG web. Let's create a contract to allow me to do that. Security policies, contracts. I'm going to create a contract. I'm going to call this one allow ICMP. I'm going to add a filter. Filter CMP. Key here is to ensure that you have applied both directions. If you do not do that, you're going to have issues where a contract has to be created in both directions. If they apply both directions, one contract can be used in both directions. Click OK. Click Submit. Now that I've created my Allow ICMP, I can go ahead and add it to my EPGs. Contract. And contracts within ACI are either provider or subscriber. So I'm going to basically add a provider contract here because I'm going to be pinging this. If you add the provider contract, drop down box and click the Allow ICMP contract I just created. Hit Submit. So now I've got my contract within my EPG to allow access to my endpoints ICMP. I still not provided a consume contract, and because of that, I'm not going to be able to ping still. So Win10 still cannot ping. Let's go and check which group to put Win10 in. So Win10 is at 10.100. There's the development servers. So let's go to development servers. Contracts. And now I'm going to provide a consumer contract here. ICMP. Click Update. As you can see, as soon as I've applied that contract, I'm able to ping the endpoint from my group tag within the EPG. Okay. Let's take a look at the other machine. I still cannot ping that one. Let's go check where we created that one. He added that one to contractors. So let's do the same thing. I'm going to go to my contractors SGT. See my endpoint is there. Click on contracts. Here I'm going to add another consumer contract. Allow ICMP. Click Update. And almost instantaneously I should be allowed to ping that machine. Now you can see here, it started to ping already. So now both machines should be able to ping without any problem. And consuming resources within my ACI fabric, the security be controlled and information learned between my ACI and my ISE fabric. I hope this video was informational and helpful, and thank you for watching.